Okay, people, it has been a long time coming, but it is finally time to review Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Switch 2. I have put so many hours into this game, and I have done everything that there is to possibly do in Mario Kart World. I have 100%ed everything. I have done 3 stars on all of the Grand Prix and Knockout Rallies, both on 150cc and Mirror Mode. I have gotten all of the costumes and characters unlocked. I have done everything in free roam, including all of the P-switches, all of the Peach medallions, all of the question blocks. I've even done every single sticker, including the ones that are like, hey, get 30,000 tricks. So, needless to say, I put a lot of time into Mario Kart World, and I really wanted to make sure I saw the game to its fullest extent, at least in a launch state here, before there are any patches, before I did my review. So now that I've put well over 60 hours into the game, I wanted to talk about it, so welcome to my 100% completion review of Mario Kart World. Okay, so first things first, I always feel like a little bit of history is required here for reviews like this. I already love Mario Kart. Mario Kart, one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, one of my most played Nintendo franchises. Mario Kart Double Dash was my first, going through the rest of the series after that. Mario Kart 7 is my most played game in the series because it just came out at the right time, but also 8 and 8 Deluxe I've put hundreds of hours into over the years. I love Mario Karts, and I really, really like Mario Kart World, but I don't love Mario Kart World yet, I don't think. There are a lot of little issues that I have with this game, and one kind of more serious complaint with the overall design of it that I think kind of hold it back, but it is so close, and I think in a lot of ways it's so close to being the best Mario Kart game. So I hope with future updates they can really kind of patch out these little annoyances I have with it and make it the greatest Ultimate Mario Kart of all time. We'll save the negative stuff for a little bit later though. Let's get into the major positives. So first things first, just the way the game feels. If you've played a lot of Mario Kart, you know each one kind of has its own game feel. 7 and 8 certainly feel more similar than a lot of others, but like Wii feels so different to Double Dash versus DS, right? This game feels like an absolute joy to play. It's nice to have an evolution after playing 10 years of Mario Kart 8, which, like I said, itself already felt extremely similar to Mario Kart 7. It's so nice having a new Mario Kart game that's actually different mechanically. It took a while to get used to, but having the rail grinding, having the wall riding, and charge jumping really changes up the gameplay, and in my opinion adds a much appreciated skill gap between those willing to master the insane shortcuts using the new movements and those that just want to play a little bit more casually. Something that I know myself and many others love about Mario Kart Wii is how the physics in that game kind of let you do insane stuff, and they definitely tone that back in 7 and 8. You can't really do any like insane shortcuts in those games. This feels like a return to Mario Kart Wii style, not quite in terms of how janky it feels, but in terms of like the insane shortcuts you can pull off in this game, the way that you can jump towards a pole, get some extra height and trick off of it, go back to a wall and then to a rail grind. Like, it's just so much fun mastering the movement in this game, more fun than it's ever been before in any Mario Kart in my opinion. And it's funny because I was even saying in impression videos when I played the game at the April event, like, this game feels kind of like a little bit too similar to Mario Kart 8. That's because I hadn't mastered the movement. Once you really start taking advantage of the new options you have for how you're racing on these tracks, it feels like when you're just on like a straightaway track, yeah, it feels pretty similar to Mario Kart 8 or 7, but when you really take advantage of everything at your disposal, this game really shines in just its movement. It feels so good to play this. I would say it's the best feeling Mario Kart they've ever made. So that right there already, like that elevates it to like a really just good experience overall. It just feels good to play this game. I also just really have no complaints with the character roster. Certainly they should have more options for how you're sorting them, but I love this roster. I know people want crossover stuff, and I do think a few would be nice down the road, right? Like, I would like to see, like, Olimar pop in here. Maybe not Link necessarily, but, like, Olimar, Kirby, even the Inklings, I think, fit pretty well. Though it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and I'm fine with it. Really honing in and focusing on like the Mario universe, I think was definitely the right choice, at least for launch here. They didn't go the Mario RPG spin-off character route that a lot of people wanted, but seeing enemies like Conqueror or Peepa, or my personal main right now, the Parabitty Bud, seeing those characters playable in this is just awesome. Like, it's so cool because they've taken what I've come to accept as like these generic standard Mario enemies that I don't really think anything about, and they're making them characters I actually want to see more of in future games. Like, I'm playing Jamboree for the first time right now, like, really getting into it on my own save file, and I saw Peepa on, like, the mall board, and I got, like, actually excited. I was like, oh, Peepa, like, I care about Peepa now because I'm playing as Peepa a lot in this game. I love these additions to the roster. I think some people are viewing them as kind of like lazier NPC additions. It's like, oh, they have the model, they just threw them into a cart. But having them adds so much variety that we haven't really seen before in a Mario Kart roster. And of course, that extends to the costumes as well. That was one of my main wishes for this game coming off of Mario Kart Tour, was I just wanted to have all of your base Mario characters, but put them in a bunch of different outfits that you can unlock through playing. I think the progression could be a little bit better in how you're unlocking these. You know, you just grab the food bag and that's whatever. But I'm really happy they added all these costumes. It makes playing as a character like Baby Mario or even like Daisy for me, you know, a character I don't really play as much. It makes that just more interesting visually because there's just more going on there. It's not just stock, you know, Rosalina, for example, right? So I really like the costumes as well. At launch right now, some characters are very clearly lacking in that department, like Donkey Kong and Pauline, but I'm pretty confident they'll add more post-launch. I think this is the best Mario Kart roster of all time. While I do miss the likes of a Funky Kong or like a Diddy Kong, or even like I said, you know, a huge Mario Kart 7 player, like I kind of miss like Metal Mario. I wish he was in here. But beyond that, taking those couple of, you know, nitpicks aside, this roster that just has so much variety and variety that you haven't really seen before in a Mario Kart roster that I don't really think any other game in the series compares. I know like Funky Kong fans are going to freak out, but like, I don't know, man. If we get those added at post-launch, plus you have all these characters, plus you have all these costumes, like, it's actually just a lot of fun selecting different characters in this game. Usually, I pick one or two. And to be fair, like I said, I'm kind of maining Parabitty Bud, but still, I'm swapping between that to Peepa, to Contour, to, you know, the Sidestepper Crab. Like, there's just so much variety here on top of the already pretty good variety of characters that have all these costumes. So, really, really enjoy the roster of characters. And I think that lineup also just feels really strong because of how just damn whimsical this game is, if that makes sense. All of the animations that the characters have, the way you can make them dance while listening to music in your little cart here, there is a level of joyous whimsy in Mario Kart World that is just not present in any other Mario Kart game, and really maybe any other Mario game in general. I think Odyssey has some of this, Sunshine certainly does as well, but Mario Kart World like takes it to 1,000. The world of Mario, it almost feels like perfected in this, and how they like animate and how they like are feeling, and you know, having that music there playing, like it just feels so good. There's so much whimsy to this game, and it really helps that Mario Kart World looks really good. Visually, this game is one of Nintendo's best. I don't know if like the art direction is stronger than like a Breath of the Wild for me, but visually it is such a step above 8 Deluxe, which already I thought looked great, especially as a Wii U game. It's funny, I remember when this was teased in the Switch 2 reveal, we were like, oh, it doesn't look that much better than 8 Deluxe. Yes, it does. This game is clearly just on a whole nother level beyond that, which it should be, right? It's been 10 years since 8 originally came out. The tracks, their terrain, the actual character models, and their kart models, it all just looks so good in Mario Kart World. Okay, let's get into each of the core modes now, starting with the Grand Prix, or really just like the regular racing in general. A staple of the series since its inception, each cup is pretty fun in Mario Kart World. But this is where I guess my major issue with the game arises. You might already know what I'm going to say here. Even on day 1, when this game released, I made a tweet, maybe it was day 2, I don't know, but it was very early on. A major crack in this game started to show itself to me pretty early. I've been playing Mario Kart since Double Dash, and while I really do respect the development team for trying something new here with this open world format where you have all these different routes, having to drive from course to course as a replacement for the standard 3-lap structure, or even the more thought out 3-route structure you'd see on like Maka Woohoo in 7, or Mount Wario in 8, it just does not do it for me. Having to drive from the track to track, I don't like it. I've put a lot of time into this game, and I really want to sit here and say, yeah, I love the intermissions, as the community is calling them, but I don't. I think they can be fun, sure, but are they better than just racing on a regular track? Absolutely not. There's not even a comparison there. I said this in a video on the main channel, but Mario Kart World can go from being like a 10 out of 10 experience when you're, you know, doing Whistle Top Summit or something, to like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 if you're doing the intermissions. It's just so much difference when you're playing on the actual track. I don't think they're quite as bad as people are trying to make them out to be. I don't think the game is killed right now because of them, but I vastly, vastly prefer the 3-lap design that Mario Kart has been known for since the beginning of the series, or I guess back then it was 5 on Super Mario Kart. There's a reason Mario Kart is so popular. There's a reason the track design is better than any other kart racer. It's because of how it's been for the entire time. So once again, I can respect the team for trying to shift that up, but having these intermissions, is not a good idea. It was a bad idea. I really think this is hurting the overall experience long term. Short term, 100% of the game, just doing all the Grand Prix, knockout rallies. I think it's fine, but long term, 5-6 years from now, when this game is still going, like, I can see this becoming more of an issue when people just want to play their 3-lap structure if they don't add something online that lets them do that a little bit easier. These sections where you're driving from one actual track to the next are fine at best, but then you actually race on a great, well-thought-out track like Its-A-Mii, or like I said, Whistletop Summit, and think to yourself, damn, I wish I was doing that the entire time. Especially with those new movement options here. The new tracks can be so great because of all the crazy rail grinding and wall hopping you can do. When you're on the intermissions, or the in-between tracks, the gameplay quite literally becomes less interactive. You literally have to press less buttons to do well in the game. It's not well designed. I get what they were going for, but I just don't think it works like on a fundamental level for what Mario Kart is. I know a lot of people are enjoying how many different routes there are between different tracks, but I really think when we're talking about Grand Prix and even like the standard online mode, this should be kept to the formula that's made Mario Kart what it is since the beginning. That being said, I do enjoy this new Knockout Tour mode they added that is exclusively on the long stretches of highway or whatever else you're racing on, right? I think as a separate pillar mode alongside the core 3-lap racing and even, having like the 3 route structure that's like Mount Wario has, like I mentioned, having that on top of Knockout Tour as a separate pillar mode, it does offer a really nice change of pace from the standard Mario Kart experience. I just don't like that it's festered its way into every aspect of this game. Every part of this game has been infected a little bit by the open worldness of Mario Kart World, and I don't like that. Even like Battle Mode, which we'll talk about in a second, even those tracks, they kind of have some aspects to them that are designed a little bit, but for the most part, it's just like taking a section of the open world and making it a battle map. That is quite literally the reason people hated the battle mode in Mario Kart 8 so much on Wii U, because they just made it the tracks, and this is just a slice of the open world. Though I will say Big Donut is okay. I like Big Donut. But yeah, back to Knockout Tour. This is a pretty fun mode. It has a kind of Fall Guy style elimination element where if you don't get to the checkpoint within a certain place, you'll be disqualified while everyone else keeps going. Weirdly, this has less routes than the standard races. I don't know why they did that. Hopefully they add more in the future for online play. But as the big new mode in this game, I think it's a good addition. For some reason, you can't play it online with friends and randoms though, which is like the most frustratingly Nintendo online design decision ever. I really hope they change that and add it down the line. Also, I will say, for doing these offline, talking about Grand Prix and the Knockout Rally, so I did 150cc, 3 stars on all of them. For getting the Knockout Tour 3-star, I got pretty good at it by the end. I wasn't really having to redo them, but at first, it was really hard, especially like on 150cc, on mirror mode. You have to place first in every section. That was a pain in the butt. You don't get anything for doing it either. I'm just a masochist, I guess, because I was like, I have to get 3 stars on, not just 150cc, like I said, but I also did the mirror mode, where you have to do it again on all of them. So yeah, I played a lot of this game in Grand Prix and on the knockout rallies, and it was fun. The NPCs or the computers can be a little weird sometimes in how they kind of just, screw you over. But you know what? Overall, pretty fun experience going for 100% there. Touched on battle mode a second ago. I don't know, man. I kind of think no matter how you look at it, this is kind of a disappointment in this game. But honestly, for me, battle mode is never really the reason I'm playing Mario Kart. I never put that much serious time into it. So I wouldn't say this drops my perception of the game, even like a point or anything, or half a point at all. But after how much effort was put into 8 Deluxe's battle mode, from the maps and even the modes available, this is a downgrade in pretty much every way. It kind of feels like an afterthought, like they added it to the game because they just thought they had to, right? It's a staple of the series. Again, though, not really a concern for me. I know there are some big battle mode fans out there. I haven't really seen too much chatter about this mode in particular. I think that's because it is so uneventful. There's no like new mode here. It's just the balloon battle as well as like coin runners, I think. So I don't know. Battle mode, not really for me. Not gonna, dock points for it. But I do think no matter how you slice it versus 8 Deluxe, the battle mode here is kind of just underwhelming overall. All right, time to talk about free roam. So this is, I think, maybe one of the more, I can't say it's the most controversial thing because that's definitely the intermissions, but free roam is something that's been talked about a lot with this game since it came out. A lot of people think it's a lot of fun. Some people think it's really empty and kind of just boring. This is Mario Kart World's core new feature, that it's this big open world that you can explore with friends, do challenges in, and find collectibles. This is where at least half of my playtime so far is, because there is a lot to do here. There are 150 question panels to find, 200 Peach medallions, and a whopping 394 P-Switch kind of challenges to complete. And I did all of it. I did every single thing you can do in the free roam. This isn't quite one-to-one to the highly requested return of mission mode from Mario Kart DS, But as someone who has done all of it, it's pretty damn close in my opinion. I really ended up enjoying my time with this. It will certainly take you longer to complete than Mario Kart DS's mission mode also. For the majority of my time in free roam, I didn't use a guide or anything to find each collectible, but I did use a tracker to at least mark what I'd already done. This is extremely important because for some reason, despite most Nintendo games having this, there is just no in-game tracking to tell you what you've already done. I don't know why they did this. When you open up the map, it doesn't show you the P-switches you've completed. It just has a number there. It doesn't show you which Peach medallions you found. It just has a number there. This is such a massive oversight. I genuinely don't really understand how the game shipped without one, because without a tracker, yeah, good luck finding that last odd Peach medallion or P-switch. That complaint aside, though, I actually did end up having just a lot of fun with and really found myself appreciating the free roam in this game. At times it can feel like kind of weirdly empty, like it can take a while to even just like find a challenge or collectible, that kind of thing. But other times you can almost get overwhelmed with how much you're seeing on the horizon, how many P-switches you're seeing to do at once. I think this mode needed more of a proper structure, not necessarily like a story mode, but maybe more of like a centralized hub or something like that, where you can maybe talk to NPCs and they'll give you hints about where to go next. Maybe there's more like customization here, something like that to really just kind of tie it all together. Because like, why are they Peach medallions? Is she just a narcissist? Why are they Peach medallions? Why are there these P-switches everywhere? Some sort of more like context, I guess, would have been nice to just tie the entire experience together. Even the way you select the free roam in the menu, it kind of makes the entire thing feel like an afterthought, because they were designing it for the races and Knockout Tour. Then they were like, okay, we got to make it single player. We might as well. We already have this map here. But the way you select it on the menu, it's just like down here next to like the in-game manual. Like they don't even really want you to like focus on it or think about it. It feels a little weird, but that said, I did have fun doing everything here, and my appreciation for it really just kind of continued to grow as I kept doing just more and more P-switches. A lot of them are very similar. I would say there's got to be at least 150 that are just like blue coin challenges, but doing everything in this game made me appreciate it a lot more, and I ended up kind of really liking the free roam, honestly. I just think it could have used maybe a little bit more structure to it. And once again, I just think the entire experience was elevated by just how whimsical this game is. Driving around this big open world as each Mario character, listening to what really might be the best Nintendo soundtrack of all time because of how many songs and remixes they crammed into it, all while messing around with the best feeling Mario Kart gameplay yet. I like free roam a lot. I know there are issues with it, don't get me wrong. I hope they add more areas post-launch for me to complete. But yeah, I really, really like this overall. Also worth noting for the people watching, because I 100%ed it, there is literally no reward for doing everything. You don't get a single thing. You get these stickers you can put on your cart for each individual thing you do find and do. But other than that, there's no grand reward like a costume or a cart skin or anything like that for doing it all. A bit disappointing for sure there. Could have at least made like a gold Mario skin for Mario or something, right? At least in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you get the Korok poop. Give us something to, like, as a token to say, hey, thank you for doing all this. Flex this when you go online and play with other people. But no, you get nothing. So it's more of just like a, pride thing, I guess, of like, yeah, I did it all, There's nothing to show off, I suppose, which maybe that's why Nintendo doesn't do it. Maybe that's why they don't have achievements. They don't want people showing off, but I want to show off. Please, Nintendo, give me a stupid gold cart skin or something. Oh, and speaking of the carts, that's another change I really, really like. I love Mario Kart 7 and 8, but I was getting pretty tired of picking my tires, cart body, and glider. Having preset uniquely designed carts to choose from again is a big bonus in my opinion. I'm just really happy they went back to that. Though I do wish there were more of them. You unlock them by earning coins, and within like 5 hours, I had all the carts, right? And they have stickers for upwards of like collecting like, I think like 30,000 coins or something, but you're done unlocking new stuff from them at like 5,000. I don't know, a little weird there. I already talked a lot about the new mechanics of this game and how much I like the movement options, but I do want to highlight something I don't particularly like, and that is driving on water. So I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right. Getting tricks off of consecutive waves can be satisfying, but generally I just don't like really any of the tracks with significant water sections in this game. Going underwater in 7 and 8 was so cool. I really, really like that, and I kind of wish they had gone that route here as well, especially with the open world design of the game, having the free roam and then being able to explore underwater and like find like NPCs underwater, that kind of thing. That could have been really cool. Salty Speedway might be my least favorite track in the game, but what's worse is they completely massacred one of my favorite tracks from Mario Kart 7 by making the majority of the track, racing on water. Rest in peace to Wario Shipyard, man. They completely butchered my boy with the water gameplay in this one. That being said, though, I do also also want to give the track lineup more praise overall. When you're not racing in between them and actually racing on them, the new tracks, combined with the new movement options, they are just awesome. Question Block Ruins is a highlight for sure. Everybody's talking about that one because you can do some crazy tricks there. Dandelion Depths and Acorn Heights are a lot of fun. They even made me like Sky High Sunday from the Booster Course Pass in 8 Deluxe. Plus, they absolutely cooked with the remake of one of my favorite tracks ever, being Airship Fortress, and turning Dino Jungle into even more of like this Jurassic Park theme track with this research facility. These tracks are just so fun to play. I think overall, something that is a little bit weaker about this game than like other Mario Karts, although this might just grow on me with time, I feel like some of them are kind of lacking in terms of overall theming. Like, I feel like some of these tracks would be catered to more characters specifically. You know, you have DK Pass, or even like Airship Fortress. It's like, okay, that's like the Bullet Bill track, right? Or you're in an airship. But then you have, I mean, Salty Speedway, I guess it's a Birdo track because there's a Birdo statue, but it's just like this generic water Venice. I don't know, man. I don't like the theming of some of these tracks, especially versus Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, Mario Kart 8, when it first came out, immediately you have, well, Music Park was from Mario Kart 7, but then you have like Electrodrome, and then you have like Sunshine Airport and Cloud Top Cruise. Like, immediately 8 had so much great theming of their tracks. Some of these in this game, I feel like, are a little bit more, I don't know. Maybe this will grow on me on time as these become more iconic as I play them for hundreds of hours over the years, but I don't know. I feel like the theming could have been a little bit better overall. Not to say they're not fun to play on, don't get me wrong. The track design is top-notch, better than it's ever been, but the theming, I feel like, I don't know, could have been a little bit better. Finally, let's talk about the online experience in Mario Kart World. Something notable I haven't mentioned yet is that this game shoots up from 12 players in previous games, or some of them, right? Some of them are 8, all the way up to 24 players. This radically changes the pacing of races, be that with or without the so-called intermissions. Everything feels way more chaotic, and I love it. I do think there's something to be said about the item balancing in Mario Kart World, even more so than like other games in the series, because bagging, which if you don't know bagging, basically it's a strategy where you stay in the back to get good items, then rocket to the front towards the end of the race. Bagging feels more prevalent now than it ever has, and it was already pretty bad in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I think that's what's so frustrating about the intermission tracks online. Usually, there are like 4 to 5 sections, with only the final section being the actual track that you selected in like the queue, right? So during the downtime, when you're doing the highways, there will be people that just kind of hang in the back a bit, getting great items, then launch their Bullet Bill and Golden Shroom at the very final moments of the race when you're on the actual track. Mario Kart World has so much depth thanks to its new mechanics, but most of the time it really does not matter because of the way the balance is overall. And I just think that's a little frustrating. Mario Kart, of course, has always been, you know, it's down to luck, inevitably, based on the items you get. But this one, it feels even more like it encourages you to just kind of hang back and get really good items, which I don't love that. I don't personally play that way, even if it means I don't end up getting first. I'm fine with that because I'd rather just play the game and do my tricks, right? And to be fair, there are exceptions, like that one skip on Question Block Ruins. That can definitely change things more than even an item, depending on how well you do it. But I don't know, man. I've had a lot of fun playing Mario Kart World Online. I love the chaos of Mario Karts. I love mastering shortcuts using the wall and rail grinding, but I can't sit here and pretend there is not a lot they can do to make it more enjoyable. While I was working on this video, Nintendo actually released a patch to make it even harder to get the regular 3-lap tracks online, and since that update released, I would say about 85% of my races have included the intermissions. This is just not as fun as doing the regular tracks. It'd be a lot better if after racing to the actual track, you did more than 1 lap. Maybe you could do 3 laps there, plus the intermissions, but you spend all this time getting there and only get to spend like 40 seconds on the actual well-designed courses, some of the best designed courses in the entire series. If it was the intermissions and then 3 laps even, I think it'd just be a lot more fun and make the game feel more balanced. I know the community is at war over this, but I really think that Knockout Tour is really where these sections should be played. Or at the very least, there needs to be another queue for standard versus intermission tracks. With all that said, I really do like Mario Kart World. I'm a little bit more passionate about it, so parts of this might feel more negative. But overall, I really, really do like the game. I'd even go as far as to say that with the right updates, this would maybe be my favorite Mario Kart game. There's just so much to it that is so well done. from the new mechanics to the character roster to most of the tracks to the enjoyment I got out of free roam, the overall presentation and the soundtrack, Mario Kart World is awesome and by all rights should be the best Mario Kart game, but there's so many little things holding it back, propped up by my one real major issue being the intermissions. I really hope Nintendo can tweak some things in the future updates and truly make this the best Mario Karts to date, because it is so close to being there. But let me know your thoughts on Mario Kart World in the comments down below. I know parts of this review might feel a little bit more like on the hardcore side of things. I know people complaining about intermissions is like really, you're in the weeds playing this game a lot. Most casual players maybe won't care, but Mario Kart is a game that I'm really passionate about. So even if parts of this review sound more negative, I want to make it clear, like, listen, this is a really good game. I just... It's so sad to see like these tiny little nagging things, you know, harm the experience when it could be such a great thing. But let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. How do you feel about the intermission tracks? How do you feel about really every aspect of this game, the free roam, the character roster, the new mechanics? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch 2 reviews. I decided, I think for these reviews, for the first party stuff, I'm going to try to 100% everything before I review it, because it really just lets you just know, like, okay, this is how I feel about this game. At the very least, in this moment in time, Mario Kart will evolve over time, but even like Welcome Tour, which I did, putting all that time into it, doing everything, just really, I think, gives you like a different perspective than a lot of people. So I think moving forward, even with like Bonanza, but also I'm doing Mario Party Jamboree right now in preparation for the Switch 2 edition. I want to like 100% all of these things. So if you want to see more reviews from someone who has 100%ed these games, definitely give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more. I would very much appreciate it. Until next time, folks, peace.